Well, our questions on Spencer Strider were promptly answered last night, and our assumptions were validated. But now, what about Brandon Woodruff? Hey, you're watching The Perfect Lineup, where Josh Engleman and myself, Dave Loughran, look to build a beauty, take down a tournament with two pitchers, one stack, and of course, let the single lineup sims do the rest of the work. So let's get into it this fine Tuesday on a 10-gamer. But before we do, whether this lineup does well or not, you always, every day, have a chance to win a free week of the MLB Sims. All you got to do, leave a comment down below. Let us know who you think is going to be the highest scoring stack tonight. And if you happen to be right, guess what? A week of the Sims could be coming your way for free. As always, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you find this to be helpful, entertaining, interesting, whatever it may be, totally free to do. We appreciate you for it. Let's get into the video. All right, there's a lot of spots we could go at SP1 today. It's actually not bad, pretty low. But Greene returned to the mound last week after a 2-month stint on the IL. I think this may be our answer. Now, he dominated the Phillies last week, right? 6 scoreless innings, 6 Ks, generated 16% swinging strikes, all good stuff, right? Now he's going to get the Angels, who have plenty of power from the right side. There's no denying that, but also strike out at a league-high 24.5% clip against right-handed arms. Greene is also allowing, and this is important because they do have power, a microscopic 0.66 home runs per 9 to right-handed bats since the start of 2024. That's over 109 innings pitched to righties. He's a career 30% strikeout pitcher who's no stranger to pitching at hitter-friendly parks. Just look at Great American, better hitter park than Angels Park in Anaheim. Not to mention, he's got a 7.5 K prop today, which is the highest of any pitcher on the slate, and he's priced at only 9K. So I think it's a good price for a good pitcher in a good matchup who showed no signs of rust whatsoever in his first start back last week. So if we're talking about some other pivots here, I love playing Brandon Woodruff in any matchup because he's simply that good. We already know that. And in his return over the past, 6-7 starts or whatever it's been, he's been excellent. But I do worry about his pitch count. He was pulled early last game. He went 4 innings, threw like 65 pitches, 4 clean innings. And apparently he was held out because it was his first start on 4 days rest. But what does that mean now that he's on full rest? Does it mean he gets 85 pitches? At 10,500, honestly, in not the greatest matchup, that's a hard price point to stomach for me personally, because you have Hunter Greene at 9K, you have Nick Pivetta at 9,500 in a perfectly reasonable spot. Giants have a 3.5 run total, and then you've got Joe Ryan against an A's team that has power, no doubt, good, pretty decent offense, but strikes out at one of the highest clips in the league against righties, and he's 9,800. So I think when you're looking at Woodruff here, couple too many drawbacks for me to want to roster him, at least with high exposure, at 10,500.
We had 3 people take the Chicago White Sox yesterday against Spencer Strider, and they ended up being the #1 stack by a mile. And now one of you 3 are going to get a week of MLB DFS Sims. It's an interesting one. It's a very small pool, and we're running back a victory that we had very recently. And I still don't know how to say this person's username. El Carius El Dragon. I have no idea, but if this is you, take a screenshot of this video, email support@stokastic.com, claim your free week.
All right, to SP2 we go. Now, we talked about it on this video. We're fading Strider yesterday with kind of the assumption that something was wrong with him. I spent a lot of time talking about this on the MLB strategy show as well, 10 Eastern, Monday through Friday. If you're not watching that yet, come hang out. It's a fun time, and it's live. But the White Sox blew him up. That doesn't make them good, all right? It just means right now Spencer Strider is bad, probably the result of some type of injury that we'll find out about sooner than later. It also doesn't mean that Bryce Elder is good, but I do like the idea of playing him tonight at 6K, no matter how gross that sounds. First, I assume he'll be minimally owned on a 10-game slate, and the White Sox are still very bad against righties. Like, we're talking about a team that is bottom 3 in WOBA and WRC plus and ISO versus right-handed pitchers, striking out nearly 22% of the time on the active roster against righties, which is middle of the road, but they're just bad overall. Plus, you put them on the road, and they are striking out at nearly 24% of the time. So at the end of the day, Elder has a favorable matchup with an opponent that currently has a 4.2 team total. And at 6K, I'm willing to take the risk. You don't need to. We got some pivots here. Like Emmett Sheehan in Coors, I don't mind that. I want to get some of him. But also, I kind of want to keep riding the Jacob Lopez wave at 8,200. This guy's just been dominant lately with a massive ceiling. At 8,200, if his ownership comes in low, despite us not getting a ton of him in the Sims today, we may boost him like we did with Trevor Rogers yesterday, like we did with guys like Brady Singer, put an heavy exposure cap on a guy like Strider, where we could do with maybe a Woodruff, and end up getting more of these, Jacob Lopez type characters today at low ownership, and we'll see what happens. But for now, for the sake of this lineup, Bryce Elder as our SP2, Hunter Greene as our SP1. Let's see what Josh can cook up in the single lineup Sims with his stack.
We might not have gotten the Braves totally right. They were an okay stack. You definitely needed Profar, but we're not dealing with them today. Today we are going to the Boston Red Sox, and the top stack tool is looking like you probably wouldn't pick them naturally. So I need you guys to trust me. They're currently 5th in top stack odds, but they're essentially tied for 2nd. The rank is a little bit different, but these guys are barely separated by anything. So top stack odds look great. The problem for the Red Sox, their top value score, 13th. They're just kind of expensive at the top end, which puts them 9th in stack score, 9th in ownership. So we're going to be very unique by playing the Boston Red Sox. And I love the Boston Red Sox because of their matchup. Tomoyuki Sagano on the hill, more like Tomoyuki. This dude has not been very good at baseball in any way. It doesn't matter who he's facing. 15% K rate overall, a 7% swinging strike rate to lefties, just under 10% to righties. Neither one of those numbers are any good. He's got a 252 X ISO to lefties, and this isn't a sample thing. That's 1,100 pitches this season. It's a 197 X ISO to righties. That looks incredibly good compared to the lefties, but that's still not a good number. That's still 900 pitches of sample. This guy has been out there and he hasn't been great. So we want to focus on the lefties to start, whether that's Anthony, Duran, Yoshida, you've got Lowe there. The problem is they lean very heavy outfield lefties. When you go to the righties, you get someone like Bregman at third, Story at short. Who knows who else could be rolling out this lineup? You'll have a catching option, probably Wong. So we have different options. Now, when it comes to Boston in general, they're 9th in ISO against righties, 185. That's a pretty nice number. They're 19th though in WRC plus, but still 106. It isn't death. They're just in that average range. Same story at home. 184 ISO is good for 12th. 105 WRC plus, good for 18th. There's power potential in this active roster for the Red Sox. Sagano has tons of potential to give up that power. I love this spot, and it seems like no one else is really there. Now it's time to build the lineup and find out just how good do Hunter Greene, Bryce Elder, and a 5-man Red Sox stack look. So Greene and Elder are in. I went heavy to the point per dollar value that I was able to find for the Red Sox. That gave us Roman Anthony and Duran both in the outfield spots, leaves us one outfield spot left. I locked in Trevor Story, so we're paying up there. I locked in Alex Bregman, 5,200, so we're paying up there. And then I put Rafaela in at second. That leaves us $3,800 to fill out catcher, first, and outfield. And that makes me feel pretty good because we can afford to eat some chalk, particularly from the Dodgers side. I'm hoping we get it. We'll click complete lineup to find out. We did get some Dodgers. We ended up getting Ryan Jeffers in the catcher spot. We got David Fry in the first base spot. So we locked in a 2-hole hitter at catcher, a cleanup hitter in the first base spot. And then we took my boy Pages in for that final outfield spot. A little bit of Dodgers representation, $100 left on the table. Run lineup simulation tells us how good it actually is. And this looks like an absolutely perfect tournament lineup. 48% sim ROI, 0.3% chance to win, 29% cash rate, and you have plenty of options to move this Boston team around. There's more value to be had if you want to go that direction. Might be able to grab some more Dodgers, but ultimately, we are saving a ton of ownership here. If the Boston Red Sox do what they're supposed to do, you're going to have a perfect lineup.